just find that like talking about things I'm passionate about, like I've got confidence in it, and I feel like I can impact people, and I know I can impact people with what I say. And again, it's drawing out the greatness in them. It's not telling them the stats of what you can do with this investment, this, that, and the other. You know, that's kind of the subject matter, but the actual message is drawing out the greatness in people, and that's what I find I'm all right at doing. Like I've always been good at doing that.
So what was the transition?
Yeah, so I got into training when I was about 18. Funny enough, it was on Christmas Day. I was 18. I just got a new Adidas tracksuit, Firebird one, black and gold.
Come on.
And I was ready to just hit the gym in it. And man didn't have no P at this time, and I was, I was brokey in it. And you know what? I had a little change, and I think the gym, there was a posh gym in it. I think the Village Hotel is a posh gym in it. Yeah. So I went there with the man them, and it was £12 for 12 days. So I thought, you know, I'm gonna get my soul, and then I'm gonna max this 12 days out. Yeah, twice a day, everything, because there was a limited time in it. So I'm banging out. I thought I had 24 sessions, bang it out. And yeah, man, that got me going, and I hit the bug in it. And I've always had my small friendship groups, but at the time there was 4 of us. I was always the smallest guy, skinny guy. But even back then, like I've always had a long-term mindset, because I always knew physically how I was going to look. Sounds mad. And when in 2013, right, I won. I used to compete as well. I went into competing, and I won the British finals for men's physique in the whole of Britain. So, but I always knew the way I looked on that day, I knew I was going to look like that. It was mad, like, but no one ever like understood the concept. I always had the long-term vision. So even when I was seeing progress throughout, like a year in or 2 years in, I didn't really, not that I didn't care about it, but like it was like, okay, that's short term. I'm making some gains now, but that's short term. I know that in another 3-4 years what I'm going to look like. And that was what kept me going. Because if I kept sticking on the short term, I feel like I would have fell off on different occasions and stopped. But I was very linear, man. I was training for like 8 years straight, like 7 days a week, most days. Okay, you know, if there was an 8th day, I would have did it. But more time, like I was just at the gym, and some of my friends will attest to it, man. Like at the time as well, I didn't have a whip or nothing. My gym was about 4 miles away. I would walk there every day, rain, shine, snow, whatever it is, man. Because I knew, headphones in. I was like a monk, bro. Don't get me wrong. I still lived a nice life, and you know what I mean. I was out on the town and that, but I had to get work done, man. I had to get busy with it. Yeah. And yeah, man, it was always that long-term mindset that kept me going, man.
Do you think going to the gym and just being healthy in general is probably one of the highest forms of discipline? And what's led you into some of the things you've done today? Yeah,
100%. It's definitely parallel, man. I find everything is connected in whatever way, shape, or form you look at it, whatever you want to chop it up, man. And especially training for me is what gave me the discipline, because I didn't learn discipline. Remember, I didn't have a father figure growing up. You know, my older brother's moving a madness. I ain't gonna look at my little brother and my friends. You know what I mean? Like they were just like messing around. No one really had any structure. You know what I'm saying? No one weren't doing nothing where like. There was no leader in our group. It was free for all. You know what I'm saying? So we all had to fight for like, we kind of all changed leadership roles throughout the year. It'd be like me one day and then Bridget next day. So there was no structure, man. So I had to learn all that on the fly, and I find training was my teacher. You know what I'm saying? So, and shout out to my gym manager, man. At the time, my gym owner, sorry, at the time, Clint. He's the one who really pushed me into it, man. And again, growing up, lack of confidence. Again, without the father figure, lack of self-belief at times. You know, I knew my potential, but again, if you haven't got self-belief, you ain't going to make no moves. So he was really like, he kind of forced me, he gave me an ultimatum. He was like, look, kind of jokingly, he said like, I want you to do this competition. You're at the place where, you know, you need to be, a bit more work, and you know what I mean, you can get there. He said like, if you don't, he said, you ain't come back to the gym anymore. Like he rather said like, you ain't coming back. So he said, you got to do it. And it was in like 6 weeks time. I was kind of always in shape, again, being an ectomorph, and I ate kind of decent. So I was always had a little bit of abs. So he said like a good 6 weeks now. I think it was 8 weeks away the competition. So he said about 4 to 6 weeks, we'll hone your diet in. I'll give you a hand in that. And I got myself a little coach, and yeah, man, rest is history, bro. Like won my first competition, amateur one. Then I moved on to the British finals, which was like the whole of Britain, bro. Like it was a big competition, innit? Like I was up against like, you know, they say your rivals, your idols become your rivals, innit? I was right on stage with like people I was looking up to, watching YouTube videos, and like they're like, well, if I'm on their level, I've done it. And yeah, I'm up there with them, man. And yeah, I took first place, man. And
congrats.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. And then that took me across to travel around Europe for a little bit. Went to Madrid, did the Arnold Classic there. didn't place as well. I think I got 6th there out of 100 and something.
That sounds like a good
130 odd on the
placement to
stage.
me.
Or something. It was a bit mad, but yeah, man, it was just a bit of a journey. But back to your point, definitely discipline is the foundation of it all, man. 100%. And it gave me that. I always say fitness is my savior because it gave me that lifeline, man, to kind of keep on the track long term. Is my whole ethos, man. And people, especially like nowadays on social media, and you know, we're fighting for attention span. People haven't got the attention span of anything anymore. They're looking at TikToks, you know, with the next thing, 30 seconds they're swiping. But I think it's so important just to not overlook long term, man, because you're going to need it in the long term anyway. You're going to need it when you're older. You know what I mean? So.
And how old were you when you were doing these competitions?
I was, work out my maths now. I'm 31 now. So I think my first competition would have been around about 22, 23, something
Sorry,
like
the
that.
reason why I'm saying these things is because, not that I can see, but I guess me taking myself back into where you were then, I could see you could see further ahead. You know what I mean? I'm trying to guess kind of like, okay, how old was he when he was thinking that maturely in reference to your friend having the shares, yourself winning the competition, and again, obviously referring to financial literacy, to be able to think that far ahead and have that level of discipline, again, speaks to your grounding. And also the influences around you as well. So obviously, French has spoken to you, I don't want to say at length, but he's had some form of conversation. So I'm kind of like trying to pick apart in some reference or hear some bits and pieces as to what was around you that was allowing you to take all this information in, or even the discipline itself, because it's very difficult to be self-disciplined. Very, very difficult.
Especially in this time we're in now, we've got so much opportunity, so much choice. You know what I mean? It's a frenzy, man. Like,
Choice and distraction.
it's crazy, bro. And just speaking on a distraction as well. That's the biggest killer of like dreams, man. It's like just grey scrolling. Even that, like I've eliminated grey scrolling. You know, even to the point where I've got like 15 names in my phone book. I've got, you know, I've unfollowed everybody on like social media that either isn't providing me value or I personally know, even on a deep level, not on about acquaintances, like because acquaintances it's high and by in the street. Like I don't need to follow you on Instagram. You know what I mean? And it sounds a bit petty, but it's self-preservation at the end of the day, isn't it? And again,
You're feeding your mind.
Of course it is, yeah. Because you know your diet isn't just your food. We all know this, isn't it? It's what you see, what you hear, and what you're around, isn't it? But back to your point, definitely. Again, I've always been very lucky because I've always had polarity. I've always had kind of not good and bad, but let's say lesser and more of. So just to give you perspective in what was around me. So again, all of us growing up where I'm from, you know, low income, same background. We all know the story, council estate, and not much going on. You know, information isn't abundant, and you know we only know what we know. It's, you know, get a job, hope to earn some money, get by. That was what Mumsy was saying, innit? But then on the other hand, I had a group of friends which were like super entrepreneurs at a young age. Like I'm talking like 16 earning 35, 40 bags a month money. You know what I'm saying? Not to be pocket watching, but that was the facts of it. Going forward, those guys turned out to become the Gymshark owners. So you know, they were a big part of my life for a huge chunk of it in my pre-adult life, in my teens growing up. Still great friends with them now. I'm to this day. One since moved on from Gymshark. The other's still there as the active CEO. But yeah, that was definitely around me. And even on a day-to-day, I'll travel to their factory 3-4 times a week sometimes, help them with a bit of work, but more so just absorb what they're doing and the greatness they were producing at such a young age. And I was there at its, you know, infantile stage from the jump. You know, they started in a conservatory in their parents' back garden, and built this empire, man. And I was, you know, effectively a part of it, not building it, but day to day, I seen the operations, I seen what it took, but it was just having the access, which is mad important. Like people pay for that nowadays, you know what I mean? Like to even, like we've seen that, you know, would you take 500k or sit down with Jay for a dinner, you know what I mean? So it was kind of, I had that dinner with them, you know what I mean? I learned a lot about business. I learned a lot, man. And like I said, back to the point where I'm an observer, man, and I observed a lot. And yeah, I took a lot of gems, man. But then, like I said, I had that other side, which was very much like had a ceiling, you know what I'm saying, and kind of stagnant. But that's what definitely kept me in. I would say in the middle ground. I've never always been at a forward completely momentum. I've had my dips. I've had my peaks and valleys, like us all. You know, I'm very human, but I'm very blessed to have access to those groups of people, and that's me going forward now. I only really focus on people that are either, like I said, it's a value exchange where we're building each other, or you know what I mean, we're learning from each other. That's I mean, it's too short otherwise, man. You know what I mean? Life's too short for that, man. You know, all the times of sitting on the corner talking about sports and that, like, it ain't really getting anybody nowhere. You know what I mean? Like, or at least if you're gonna do that, monetize it and make a show or something, do something about it.